Well, I'm not going to get into details about NIH. If you have any additional questions about NIH per se, we do have at the end of this presentation the link to reach out to me. But as many of you know, NIH is the foremost center for biomedical and behavior research. We're in the news every day. Dr. Anthony Fauci is head of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases. That's one of 27 institutes and centers at NIH. And for 2019, overall, HHS had a $35+ billion1000000000 Now, listen to me. HHS, meaning the Department of Health and Human Services, of which we are one of the 10, what they call operating divisions under HHS, is just the largest non-DOD, military, any other federal agency. We're the largest civilian agency under the federal agent opportunities. This is something that you all may want to keep in consideration when marketing, not only for opportunities at NIH, but marketing with the HBCUs. And the reason I say that, for instance, right now under the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, that's my top left right-hand corner, that is where all this biodefense, viral, PPE activity is going on right now because of the pandemic. Not only that, you got the National Institute of Drug Abuse, you got the National Cancer Institute. Now for FY19, NIH was approximately a $6 billion, and that's with a B, a $6 billion entity for activities for contracts and opportunities. That $6 billion included $1.9 billion for R&D, research and development contracts, and for non-R&D, we did $3.6 billion. That also included delegated, purchase cards, delivery orders, purchase orders, BPAs, micro purchases, the whole works. So as you can see, NIH is a full service center, and it has 10 contract shops. So when you all come back to me after this, or if you have any questions, understand when you reach out to me, make sure you've looked at this chart, you've looked at these individual institutes and centers web pages, and determine where you want to market yourself when you team and partner with an HBCU. I wanted to show you that NIH is also a very active small business generating area as well. For FY19, we did over 30%. Now, the federal goal is 23% for small businesses out of SBA. HHS has a 23% goal, but NIH was assigned a 28% small business goal last year, and we exceeded it to 30+. The only two goals that we didn't meet, we far exceeded all of our goals in SDB, woman-owned business. We almost did the certified hub zone, and we almost met our service disabled vet goals, but we're working on that. We're continually working on that. NIH is the only federal agency that has a hub zone consortium. And like I said, you can reach out to me later about that. Why should HBCUs contract with federal government? Well, listen, why not? That's the question that I pose to you. Why not? HBCUs are out there educating our future scientists, our future educators. So why not work with them? 43% of their revenues from grants and federal contracts are less than 1% going towards the federal government. HBCUs they may not be primes. That's why we're talking with you about being a prime or mentor with them, because as I said, they are hired. The faculty at HBCUs are hired to educate. That is their primary source of revenue and income, to educate the future. However, you have some of the best, brightest scientists and other IT, artificial intelligence, folks that you can ever find, because they are used to doing grants. So that's why we're trying to flip them over a little bit and consider government contracts. You say, why are we doing this? As I said earlier in an introduction, every president since Jimmy Carter has signed a presidential executive order addressing just this concern. HBCUs, minority serving institutions, Alaskan Native, and so on. And so this executive order currently signed by our current president talks about the last line I love: encourage the private sector to improve capacity of HBCUs. And each agency is encouraged to increase the capacity of HBCUs to compete for effective grants, contracts, or corporate agreements. So that is why we have this initiative. Now, I wanted to show this slide, even though it says 2017, and we've reached out to our home office at HHS to see if they have updated this slide. But this is very telling. HHS in 2015 committed $1.8 billion to support minority serving institutions. And this is how it's broken down in 2017. So hopefully that I will be able to get an updated slide. But this is very telling. And looking at this slide, you look at HBCUs got $140 million versus you got Alaskan, American and Native Pacific Islanders, $623 million. And then American Indian and Alaskan Native Serving Institutions got $655 million. So this is telling you about the support that HHS has towards this executive order. What is the NI's path to excellence and innovation? I'm not going to read this to you, but in a nutshell, it's the offset of the NI Small Business Office, where we are trying, as I said, to match small businesses such as yourselves with HBCUs. And oh, by the way, there's 103 HBCUs that have technology. They have all types of capabilities in one or multiple areas. I don't know if you recently read in the paper where the Department of Health and Human Services just awarded a $40 million contract to Morehouse School of Medicine to deal with some of the testing outreach activities that's going on in during this pandemic. Also, NIH has contracts for other areas with HBCUs as well. So as I said, we're providing technical assistance. We're hoping to launch a technical assistance center this year that is going to really provide not only technical assistance for these HBCUs, but also with the small businesses so that you can understand how your relationship should blend. Currently, we have 6 pilot schools. Each school has been chosen one or more minority business teaming partners to support their efforts in the pilot program. The 6 schools that we have in the pilot program is Jackson State. Jackson State has a heart study. We have the University of Virgin Islands, Morehouse School of Medicine, Howard University, Hampton University, and Meharry University. And right now, currently, NIH has contracts with 3 HBCUs. Jackson State, as I said, with the heart study, Tougaloo also with the heart study, and Morehouse School of Medicine. Now, this is very telling for 18 and 19. Out of that $6 billion that I previously showed you, this is what we have awarded in contracts to HBCUs. That's a drop in the bucket, guys, but that's why they need businesses like you to help us. As you can see, we did have a contract during that time period with Howard University, Jackson State. Now Jackson State is in a task order contract that has been going, they've been a part of this contract for over 20 years. And Tougaloo became a part of it about 4 or 5 years ago. Morehouse School of Medicine is in the All of Us project. And as I said, we have had some task orders, purchase orders for some HBCUs, but this is the major work as to what we have and some of the institutes that we have them with. HBCUs with grants. As I said, HBCUs know how to do grants. That's one of their revenue sources is with grants. And as you can see, these are all of the schools currently that have grants with NIH. If there's any HBCU alums, I'm quite sure that you see your school on there. Okay, what have we accomplished during this program? For 2020, like I said, we have a curriculum with a major, we did a curriculum with a major training facility. We had to cut it short because of the virus. Literally, we had the training set up at Howard University for 3 days. And on the second day, I was instructed from NIH, cut it short, nothing else, get out. We got to get off site. We had to leave the office and so on that. So now we've regrouped, and now we are going to be starting hopefully late October timeframe. We're going to be doing virtual training up to 30 participants at a time with this company, where they can bring in students, they can bring in faculty. As long as we have 30 participants, and the teacher is going to be virtual, and they have to have certain criteria, meaning equipment at their school to participate. But we're looking forward to doing that. We've done it before, and we're going to start it all over again. Successful partnerships. I don't know if you know, Hampton University won a major contract and/or / corporate agreement with the National Cancer Institute for proton therapy, and that is working very well. And now Hampton is looking at additional opportunities at the clinical center to work on. If you've never visited the Hampton campus, you go down there. There's a beautiful site, and they also have that Proton Institute on their site. So it's amazing what they've done. We've done several roundtables. We were supposed to do a second round in North Carolina and South Carolina when the pandemic happened. So we've now regrouped again and going to look at doing virtual roundtables. The last outreach activity we participated in was down in Georgia, Atlanta, in late February. And I presented to their NCMA group, as well as I had a roundtable with all of those Southern HBCUs that were there. And we had schools that came up from Alabama, South Carolina, and so on. The head of contracting activity participated in the White House President's Board of Advisors panel, along with a couple of other federal agencies, with presidents of HBCUs and the Department of Education White House Initiative. And that's where this White House Initiative comes out of. The executive director of that initiative is a direct report to the president at this time. We participated in the Alpha Street Baptist Church Federal Agency panel. I was up there with GSA, National Regulatory Commission, NASA, and Treasury. And we held a panel talking with, again, educators. There were people like Amazon there and other large corporations that were listening to collaborations with the HBCUs. We organized the Contracting Policy Cluster Committee. I am a member of the Policy Cluster, and some great things have come out of there. And it's going to be discussed, hopefully, at the upcoming conference in September. And our database has now been recognized and approved by OMB, the NIH PEI database. Listen to me, that is a fate that we cannot explain how elated we are with. It has been approved by OMB, it's been approved by NIH, and so now we're ready to go. And we're hoping that that database is going to be a one-stop shop for HBCUs and small businesses. What's next for the PEI program? Again, to continue identifying programs and initiatives where HBCUs, underrepresented, and businesses like you can participate with them. We are developing an HBCU reference manual on how to conduct businesses with the federal government. And all this is going to be not only, hopefully, a few hard copies, but it is going to be up on that database in our website. We are working, and we're almost finished developing our strategic plan. We're also almost close to finishing our standard operating procedures for participating in the program, develop a curriculum for training, HBC contracts and grants procedures, also develop a portal for HBCUs to partner with MBEs such as yourself to obtain opportunities in grants and contracts. We're in communication with the MBDA to figure out how we can collaborate and team together as well. I wanted you to know that the HBCUs are serious about doing work. They're serious about being integrated into the acquisition or the federal sector. And by doing so, we have several HBCUs that have already applied and received GSA schedules. And that's great. Fayetteville State, Alabama A&M, Alabama A&M, and we have several others that are pending at this time. There's only 0.5% of federal contracting dollars in the pool for universities to receive by HBCUs. What are some of the benefits of a GSA schedule? We don't have to tell you. Many of you have benefits, but for HBCUs, it's phenomenal. I mean, you know, it just shows you that they are willing and ready to start penetrating, working with the federal agency because they know now that that is another source of revenue and exposure for their schools. For that, some of you, I know that we wanted to provide you with some cover resources and tips. And so the next couple of slides, as Rena pointed out to you, will be available. Here's assistance for small businesses. Here are the links to these various activities that can help you with COVID-19 relief. Some of it is with NIH, some of it is with all federal agencies. Again, information on guidance for business and employers and so on and so on. Additional resources. Locating NIH opportunities, and this is just, I just wanted to throw that in. I always have a plug for helping my small businesses locate opportunities. You know, we're in the fourth quarter. On our website, we do have, we had to convert some of the bid board information to links. They're up on our bid board, up on our website to help you be able to locate opportunities. But also, look at that simplified acquisition page because that's where the money is being spent right now. The larger projects, to me, now I'm saying that to me, don't anybody go back out and say that I said this is the truth, but at this time in the fourth quarter, you want to be looking at those simplified acquisition opportunities in the door. Look at the micro purchases. Look at, as I said, the bid boards and see what opportunities are out there. And these are some upcoming events. The most important upcoming event for our office and for the HBCUs is the National HBCU Week Conference. Registration will open up on August 20th. If you're interested in participating, please do so. We will be hosting the last day, the 25th, in the afternoon. We will be hosting an industry day for the HBCUs to be able to link and match make with federal agencies. Currently, we have over 28 federal agencies that have signed up to participate in this matchmaking for the HBCUs. So let me just make you let me put a plug in right here. If you're interested in teaming with HBCUs, listen to me. Look at who you may want to team with. And at this given time, I would reach out to them, talk about their capabilities, talk about your capabilities, discuss where you think you have relevance between each other so that when they register to do this matchmaking, you might be able to sit in with them as a team, as a partner, to discuss your conversations with these federal agencies. That's just a little hint. Other resources, the HBCUs and Contracting LinkedIn group, and you want to stay on top of the events, and you can always find out the events that we're having on our webpage. This is just a breakdown. NIH, as I said, the members of the Small Business Program Office. I have Keandra Watts. She's the one that helped develop these slides with me today. Rachel Kinlaw, Program Analyst in the office. Many of you may have met Rachel or spoken with her. Courtney Carter, Courtney has a dual role. Courtney works not only with us in the small business office, however, Courtney is also a BPA analyst. So she has, you can reach out to Courtney if you have questions about the Blanket Purchase Agreement Program. And this is our small business office. I don't have Octavia Copeland. She is our administrator in there. And she too is also one that helps coordinate a lot of activities that goes in the office. And below, you, as I said, we're part of the Department of Health and Human Services. And because of NIH's size, because of the volume of activities that come out of NIH, we have been assigned 4 small business specialists. Jonathan Ferguson, Wayne Berry, Anita Allen. Anita also covers CMS, Natasha Boyce. Now, John Ferguson, he also supports the Indian Health Services. Wayne covers and supports not only NIH, but HRSA. So I just wanted to point that out to you all and let you know where your resources are, if we can help you. And if there's any questions, I'm finished with my presentation.
There are tons of questions. You got the whole industry excited.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that.
Very interactive group here, and thank you so much for this informative and detailed presentation. So I'm going to throw out there are duplicate questions, so I'm going to combine those. I've combined them, and I'm going to ask the number one question that you got the Q&A line buzzing was when you mentioned your PEI database. Everybody wants to know where to find it, when is it going to go live, because they want to be able to reach HBCUs, and we have some HBCUs on the line who want to be able to reach small businesses. So
okay.
A little bit more information on that and a timeline of when that will be available.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad to hear the excitement is there. Great. The database, as I said, has just been approved literally in the last week or so, been approved by OMB. We are finishing, Rachel Kinlaw has overseen that project, and she's done an outstanding, phenomenal job with that, along with Aisha, what is Aisha's last name? Aisha is a part of our contractor. Listen guys, we have a small 8A company that started out with us a couple of years ago that's been assisting us in getting all this information in place. The small business database, we're hoping will be open for operation, if not October 1st, on or about between October and November. And guys, listen to me. Once it goes live, we will send out some sort of correspondence to the small business community that we have and let you know that our database is available. Also, let me point out to you, there's going to be an application process. And the application process is going to be for the HBCUs and for the small businesses to onboard new people and opportunities for you all to be a part of our PEI program. So don't worry, it's coming, and we're going to get it out there. And we're looking forward to you all responding, applying, as well as understanding that you have a partner or partners that you would like to participate. And that goes for my HBCUs too. Like the 6 that are on board right now, they don't have just one small business partner. They have several. Some have one, some have several, because everybody has different capabilities. And every entity brings different ideas and opportunities to the table. Somebody may have some data management experience. Some may have some IT experience. Oh, and let me just tell you, we had we did a presentation, I think Marina, yes, where we talked about NITAC's new CIOSP 4.
Right.
And we encourage small businesses to find HBCU partners to go after some of the small business work that's going to be under CIOSP 4's task order. So we're excited about the broadening of the relationships that are going to occur.
Thank you. So more questions, and again, the more you answer about the database, the more questions we get. But I'm going to switch gears just a little bit here and ask, there are a couple of companies who said that they have worked with HBCUs when as part of the DoD Mentor Protege program. But what are some of the best practices for them to continue outside of that Mentor Protege program? Are there any best practices or advice that you might give small businesses?
Repeat that again, I'm sorry.
So small businesses have worked with HBCUs as part of the DoD Mentor Protege program. But what are some of the best practices that have worked well for NIH in working for small businesses to work with HBCUs?
Best practices. The best one I can say is communication. Because one of the concerns and issues that have been for not only our office, but for the relationship building of the schools and the businesses is communication. Because you got to realize, guys, for the business part of it, as I said earlier, the mindset right now, a lot of them is not business oriented. You have to understand that these schools have programs, and these people have been hired as educators. So that's why one of the things that we've been working with is asking that they provide us with a specific point of contact. More importantly, someone in probably the sponsor program office, because you got to realize you can't take somebody that is a professor, say in archaeology, and expect that person to sit down with you and discuss what type of opportunities they may have in that area. And the same thing, and what you have to realize is this: the contract awards are made to the school, not to the program. So if you're working with someone in the cancer program at Howard University, that contract may be centered around the opportunities and or capabilities that the Cancer Institute, and maybe even break it down even more to the sickle cell area. It may be centered around that. But you got to understand that contract, as you know, as small businesses, has to be made to Howard University. So communications is key.
Thank you for that. Another interesting question is, when working on contracts together, are HBCUs considered as small business?
No.
Any credit that the prime would receive?
Currently, no. HBCUs are not considered in one of the socioeconomic categories. Currently, the Department of Ed, White House area are in conversations with SBA. We just had a town hall meeting recently with the head of SBA, administrator, to discuss that. But currently they're not. And no, there is no credit currently for utilizing an HBCU.
All right. And there's a repeat question is, how do small businesses participate in these contracting activities with HBCUs? What advice do you have for them in reaching out to HBCUs? I think the number one repeated question here is, where do we find the contact information for these HBCUs? Now, I know your database is coming out in October, and hopefully that will help. But any other advice that you have for the companies?
Yeah, you got a couple places. If you Google HBCUs, it'll give you the listing of all the 100 plus HBCUs. Now, your real question is, who do I reach out to at an HBCU once I decide which HBCU I'm interested in? And to me, I would start out with the sponsor program people. But before you do that, I encourage you to do some homework. Don't just go pick Delaware State. Why are you picking Delaware State? What does Delaware State have that's compatible with what you're doing? Is it something that Delaware has that you feel some capabilities that you think Delaware has that you might want to be interested in teaming with them with? again, just like any opportunity, you got to do your homework. You need to understand what capabilities that you and these HBCUs may have that are compatible.
Thank you. Another question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rena. On my current website, I think there is a link to the HBCUs. I think there is.
Okay, well, we'll get that from your office after this call, and if it is available, we'll send it out to all the attendees.
Okay.
So follow-up question, which I know most companies, large and small, would be very concerned about. HBCUs are not used to doing business with the government, as you mentioned. True. Primarily used to grants.
Right.
Is there a different yardstick to measure their participation and performance on contracts, and how are they going to be held responsible for the performance?
Well, you got to understand, just like if you were teaming with any other small business, that you're absolutely right. They have to be held accountable for their performance. And that's why I always say communication is key, and you need to make sure you're speaking to the right people at these schools, and you need to be having, you need to do your homework as to what the schools have to offer. There is no yardstick. I can't slap them on the hand and say, oh no, you didn't do this. You are engaging in a business relationship with these schools, and they are in turn learning. And so you need to determine whether you are going to be a mentor, if you're going to be a teaming partner, if you're going to subcontract. These are the kind of questions you have to answer. This is a business relationship. They're held accountable the same way you would be held accountable as a subcontractor, teaming partner, mentor, or however you decide to blend. So you got to realize, guys, that this is a new entity for them. So that's why I say that decide where or if this is what you want to do and engage with these schools. They're eager, they're wanting to do, but they need to be guided as well in some instances. I mean, you got Howard, that Howard University is doing well. You got Hampton University is doing well. Meharry has an animal husbandry program that's over 20 years old. They are diamonds in the rough, believe me.
So I think the confusion still continues to stem in the questions that are being posed is how do small businesses partner with these HBCUs? I think you've answered that throughout this, but if you want to provide some more clarification, we would appreciate it. How do they get started in partnering with these HBCUs?
Okay, you know what? To respect time and everybody's time, I'll tell you what you do. If you all that still have that question and need clarity with that information, maybe what I can do is set up a session to talk about that, to go into extensive detail. I mean, because the only thing I can really tell you is it's just like you decide to partner with any other company. You need to find out who the key personnel are, who are the people that are responsible for engaging and entering into a relationship, and that's what you do. And I would start with the sponsored program area. And I would start with looking at these schools' web pages to determine what they are doing. Morgan University, oh my God, out there in Baltimore is off the chain with this artificial intelligence. You got Bowie State, right? You know, for those that are local, Bowie State University, their nursing program, their medical program, UVI, University of Virgin Islands. They're really strong in nursing, also the medical programs. So, you know, it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to give two more questions in being respectful of time. One is, you mentioned HBCU roundtables. How does industry participate in that? Is that open for industry participation also?
Yes. Because when we were down in Atlanta and in North Carolina, yes, we had RTI was there, Duke University was there. Yes, in answer to that question, yes, they are.
Okay, and the HBCU roundtable information is available on your website?
Yes, when we have upcoming activities such as the roundtable, they are listed on our activities of upcoming events. Yes.
All right, so we are going to encourage everyone to please look up the information on NIH's website for HBCU roundtable if you're interested in participating on those. Last question I'm going to ask you, and you can opt not to answer this because this is specific to what industry is burning to know. As you know, CIOSP 4 scorecard has the Executive Order 13779 and up to 300 points associated with that.
Yep.
I'd like to know, how can they leverage HBCUs? What advice do you have specific to those points on CIOSP 4? Do you want to answer that?
Only thing I can say to you again is this. That is a great opportunity. And I'm telling you right now, you need to do your homework before, as I always say, know who you're getting in bed with.
Great, thank you. And I think this is the first opportunity that I've seen that I know of, where Executive Order 13779 has been called out specifically with points associated. Right. So
we work very closely with the NITAC team, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime. It is an opportunity of a lifetime for both, not only the business entities, but the HBCUs as well.
Agree. Well, thank you so much for your time. The questions keep coming. There are lots of questions, but I do want to summarize to everyone that this was just a high-level overview. Ms. Scarborough's office has been very helpful and open for industry to ask questions. For HBCUs that have participated today, if you'd like to send your contact information to us, we will circulate that amongst the small businesses. We had over 450 small businesses who have registered with us. So this is a great opportunity for both small business and HBCUs to reach each other before that very coveted PEI database goes live. So please contact each other, and we are here to facilitate as much as the NIH office is. So Ms. Scarborough, and to your team, thank you so much for everything today. This was very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. Good luck, guys. Bye.
Bye.